Trust is built through narrative. Change is mobilized through story. So why have the most powerful leaders in the world forgotten how to tell theirs? Hi, my name is Tiffany. I'm a cultural futurist specializing in identity evolution, and I track shifts in culture, energy, and human behavior before they become mainstream. In 2024, Adrienne C. Smith made history at the World Economic Forum. She built the first standalone activation dedicated entirely to inclusion called Inkwell Beach Davos. Not a side conversation or panel tucked into a corner. A full activation at the most powerful gathering of global leaders on the planet. Asking the question, who gets a seat at the table and who gets to shape the future? And in 2026, they went back. And this time, they gathered CEOs, activists, and global communicators for a session on something that stopped the room. Storytelling. Specifically, why the most powerful leaders in the world have lost the ability to tell their own story, and why reclaiming it is now a leadership imperative. The idea is around the license to lead, and I want to tell you what I think that license actually requires. Because here's what all the data, the performance metrics, and the dashboards have quietly eroded. Not the strategy or the vision or the ambition, identity. The leaders who built organizations that people actually believe in, who created cultures that people want to belong to, who moved industries forward not just with decisions but with direction. They all had one thing in common. They knew exactly who they were. Not the version of themselves that was optimized for the room or positioned perfectly for performance. The real one built from the specific experiences that formed their thinking. Failures that made them credible. Values that were non-negotiable long before anyone was watching. When you know who you are at that level, your story becomes undeniable. Not because it's polished, but because it's true. And truth in a room full of performance is one of the rarest and most powerful things in the world. This is why Adrienne's work with Inkwell Beach and Cannes Diversity Collective is important far beyond inclusion, beyond Davos and beyond Cannes, because you cannot give someone a seat at the table if they don't know who they are when they sit down. And you cannot reclaim storytelling until the person telling the story has done the work to know themselves deeply enough to speak from that place. That is not just a communication skill, that is an identity skill. And it is the most important leadership development work happening right now. In boardrooms, behind the scenes, off stage, and in the quiet internal work that precedes all of it. The license to lead has always been self-issued. You just have to know who's signing it.